Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. How is everybody doing? I hope you are doing fantastically fine and well. If I was a viewer personally, in my personal opinion, I would come to these live streams, to every Apostate Prophet live stream as a viewer, just because of the intro music, because it is a pleasure to listen to. But that's just me and my personal preference, and I know that David would entirely agree with me, or won't he? David, how are you doing?
Yo, yo, yo.
That's it.
Hey, someone says there's an echo.
An echo. I don't hear an echo. Echo, echo, echo. Okay, two people said echo, echo, echo. I don't know. Maybe they're pranking us. Is there an echo? Is there an echo?
Sometimes they're saying they can't hear me. What? You hear me, don't you?
I hear you.
Some
No
people are
echo,
saying
no
no.
echo. What?
Some people are saying no, it's good.
Most people are saying there is no echo, and David, we can hear David. So I think people are just messing with us.
People are messing with you because they know you. They know that you're an easy target.
Yeah, I'm very upset about this right now. I think we will end this live stream here.
Yeah, we should.
So what's up, David?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yo. I don't know what's going on.
You saw me when we were setting up. I was literally building the platform to set this on as you were trying to go live.
I know, and I was telling you what great shame, what incompetence, what thoughtlessness is this that you would.
A couple days ago when I was live with Robert, I actually had it. I had a laptop on a step ladder. The step ladder wasn't tall enough, so I had a box on top of that, and then I had no place for the mic. So I took a utility knife and cut a slot in the side of the box and stuck my mic down in there. I didn't want to do that again, so I ordered this, but I just got it. And I had to put it all together. So now I have this cool. It's one of those cool. Like it could be sitting or standing little desks, right? It will raise up if I want to stand up. But yeah, I got it set up now. So here we go. So we're good to go.
Yeah, fantastic. So today we want to talk about Muslim reactions to the whole Salman Rushdie issue. We talked about it quite a bit before when the incident happened, about what happened. By the way, updates as far as I can see about Salman Rushdie and his health are that he is recovering. There are not many details out there about his what his health is right now. No proper details, like about his eyes. Like one of the first reports was that he might lose an eye or something like that, but I don't see any clearer updates. But we had a lot of responses. We had a lot of responses from Muslims, from people who don't like Islam, like David, who is just a hater of Islam. And then we also had responses from other people. And we all expected Muslims to have very severe reactions to this incident and to condemn this incident, because Muslims often claim that Islam is totally against violence, that Islam condemns violence and hate, and Muslims say that that those who approve of violence and commit violence are just a very small minority. Most people are not violent and they are against violence and all that. But what do you think, David, from the responses that you have seen so far coming from the Muslim camp? Do you think most Muslims love what happened to Salman Rushdie, or?
I don't know. I can say the vast majority of people who I've seen speaking out about it seem to be in favor of it. And so, and by the way, that is very different from, it always comes up how different things are from the way they were just 15 years ago. 15 years ago, if you said there was a death penalty for apostasy in Islam, people called you a racist and an Islamophobe. Now they're shouting it from the rooftops. And so guess what? We were right all along. There were just a lot of people denying it. Well, it's the same thing with, these attacks back in, the 7/7 bombings and those terrorist attacks back in the day. It seemed like the vast majority of Muslims you heard from were saying, we condemn that. You could find plenty who are, affirming it online and so on. You could find them in various places, but the the main crowd of Muslims was condemning it, saying, "Hey, this is not what Islam was about. Islam is a religion of peace and tolerance. Surah 5, verse 32. If anyone kills a man, it's as if he's killed all mankind. There's no compulsion in religion. See, that's what Islam teaches." And we were saying, no, that's not what those verses mean. But you know, it always occurred to me that most of the Muslims who are saying this actually, you know, believed what they were saying. They've been misled by their leaders about, you know, various passages in the Quran and so on, but they still seem to believe that these attacks were wrong. And now things have shifted. So just over the past few years, you know, Muslim leaders openly admitting that there's a death penalty, them planning for the future, laying out their strategy for jihad and how they're going to go door to door, offering us 3 options. And if we go with the third option, it's right. And now, I mean, you have an attack on Salman Rushdie. It would seem very easy for Muslims to say, that's just Iran. That's just a random Shia dude. That's the tiny minority there of people who would support this. And yet almost everything I've seen so far was praising this guy as a hero. Sunni and Shia praising this guy as a hero and a lion of Islam. So it sucks that you have so many people openly praising violence, but the positive side is that true colors of Islam are becoming more and more apparent as time goes on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we see when we call out people and when we ask people to condemn this, the responses are often, well, we don't have to condemn this. Why do you always want us to condemn this? And then they keep on talking about the issue and waste so much energy and time on explaining to us why they don't have to condemn everything. And I'm speaking of those who don't openly say that Salman Rushdie deserves it and should be killed and all that. But it's funny that they spend so much time explaining to us that they don't have to condemn it, but then don't take 5 seconds out of their day to actually say, you know what, I condemn this. Then that just shows very clearly. I mean, we know very well why they don't want to condemn it. The number of Muslims who actually say this is abhorrent, this is horrible, this is wrong, I condemn it, I am against such violence, Salman Rushdie should not be harmed. Those people are a very tiny minority among Muslims that you see online, among those who respond to such incidents. You will see that they are overshadowed by the absolute overwhelming majority of Muslims who either say, ha ha ha, well done, he deserved, hope he dies and goes to hell, or who say, well, it's his own fault, sorry, ha ha ha. So and we are not making this up. I don't want to give too many spoilers here, but of course I will publish a video tomorrow, and we will publish some videos about this incident this week, and I will also publish one in which you can see what Muslims themselves say. We are often accused of, manipulating information and opinion, and I don't know, being prejudiced and whatever it is. So I thought it would be best if I collect as many responses from Muslim as possible and turn them into a video. I don't know. I'm planning on showing many comments, which will not be restricted to just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 people, and then everybody can see how Muslims really think about this whole incident. Now,
I just wanted to add on the issue of condemning stuff, right? I'm not one of the, after anything happens, I run out and go, hey, why aren't you condemning this? Where's your condemnation of this, right? But that's what they do to us, right? That's what they do to us. So when I do say that, hey, why aren't you condemning this? It's kind of a mockery of them, right? It's, hey, if D. Wood has been condemning violence for decades now, and someone does something violent, it makes sense to me that I don't have to say, I condemn that, because I've spent my life condemning that. I've spent my life condemning violence. And so if someone's using violence, then I would obviously condemn that. Why are you asking me? But you and I have seen, we've been on the receiving end of this, right? Sheikh Uthman gets into some road rage thing, gets stabbed. And before I've even heard of it, before I'm even aware that it happened, I've got Muslims blasting me. Why haven't you condemned the attack on Sheikh Uthman? David, is it because you support this attack? And you were on the receiving end of that too. probably before you even knew about it. You were probably getting you were probably finding out that you must support it because you haven't condemned it. And so it's just
And
amazing.
he went home on the same day after the incident, and the first thing he did was to publish a video in which he said, "David Wood, Apus, where are your responses? Why are you not condemning this?" The-
Yeah.
That's how he announced that he got stabbed.
And it's funny. So because so we as a rule, we're condemning violence, and then when someone uses violence that we would obviously condemn, why aren't you condemning it? Is it because you support it? But you got all these Muslim Dawa guys, and they all support violence in various contexts, and they say in effect that you deserve what you get if you're making fun of Muhammad. And even if they say, we personally don't do this, they announce that there are Muslims who will do that sort of thing. And so it's a warning. And they're the ones who are trying to enforce, in one way or another, Sharia blasphemy laws. And so when there's actually an attack, when various, large portions of the Muslim community for decades now have been calling for Salman Rushdie to be brutally murdered for making fun of Muhammad and the satanic verses, it would make sense to say, hey, all you guys who call for violence pretty regularly, what do you think about killing a critic of Islam? Very difficult for them to say, we condemn killing people for making fun of Muhammad, because that makes it very easy for us to go to their sources and say, Muhammad didn't see it that way. Why are you condemning your prophet? But instead it's, no, we don't have to condemn this. It's awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, it is ridiculous stuff. So I want to go into looking at the video. Before we start, actually, I want to reiterate one question and one challenge that I presented before and asked before. So many people, when we talk about stuff like this, come out here and say, why are you talking so much about this? Why not condemn all these other things? And, like other religions also have such issues and also demand, harm and killing and all that. So I want to reiterate the one challenge and the one question one more time here at the beginning before we go into it. When was the last time somebody was killed or attacked, brutally attacked with the intention of killing in the name of their religion because he offended a religion, and most people around the world from that religion were proud of it or happy with it? So when was the last time that somebody actually got attacked or killed for offending a different religion other than Islam, and most people of that religion were actually approving of that and happy with it? Please point it out to me, show it to me, give me proof, tell me, hey, look, here is an incident where this other religion also did the same thing. Show me a list of incidents where other religions also did the same thing. Show me just one incident and I will take all of it back. It just simply does not happen. Yes, maybe we will talk about something that happened 500 years ago in Spain, but show me something that happens today. It doesn't. It happens only with Islam, and that is the problem. We want to talk about the Muslim responses now. I think you had a few of them in mind from Muslim apologists, how they reacted to the Salman Rushdie issue. The first thing that I did, because Sheikh Uthman called us out and asked us where our condemnation is, I searched for Sheikh Uthman, Salman Rushdie. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find that Sheikh Uthman condemned this issue. So there's nothing here. I don't know why. He did not talk about that. So maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe I'm blind.
You must be missing it, because we know that as soon as he heard about it, to be consistent, because consistency is the bedrock foundation of Islamic ethics. We know that he must have rushed right out and condemned it.
Yeah, maybe it's still uploading. Maybe he uploaded it when it happened, but it's still loading. So we didn't see it.
We do have problems uploading stuff.
Yeah, it might be his uploading speed, but I don't see any condemnation from his side, but I'm sure it will come. I don't want to judge him here without knowing. So, yeah. We will wait for a response from Sheikh Uthman. But we have a few other things. Like we have Sajid Lipham here. We have Ali Dawa. We have Muhammad Hijab twice with some other dude. Who do you want to start with, David?
I haven't seen. I've only watched one response video, so I'm interested in what these guys have to say.
I haven't watched any of these. The only one I turned on was Mohammed Hijab, and then as soon as he started talking, I thought, go away. But it would be probably more bearable to watch it here together and then to see what they say. So let's start with Sajid Lipim, who is my favorite Muslim apologist, and in fact, one of my favorite YouTube channels that I always follow and have notifications turned on. See, I'm subscribed and I have notifications on. I'm not lying. So what do you say? Should we start with this?
Hey, he's got the same mic I'm using.
Really? Oh.
Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah.
What?
Interesting.
What? Sajid saw my mic.
Yeah, probably.
Ran out and grabbed one for himself.
Probably. Probably.
He's like, David sounds so awesome when he speaks. I want to get the exact same microphone.
Yes, I'm serious, guys. Look, I'm subscribed. I'm not lying here. Look, I'm subscribed, and notifications is also on here. Look, all notifications.
Just based on the title here, condemn it, you Muslim. Looks like he's going to be saying he doesn't have to condemn it or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I would agree with in principle. If your life and teachings, your words, your speech have been characterized by condemnations of violence, I can imagine you saying, guys, I don't need to condemn everything that happens, but some of these guys, I don't know, man. Sounds like they really, really deep down. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm interested in what he has to say, because I mean, if you read the Muslim sources, it was clearly a pretty normal thing to brutally murder people for making fun of Muhammad. So I don't know.
Yeah. But you will see that Muslims obviously don't agree with it. With it, look, to even be asked to condemn is ridiculous. Who in America was asked to condemn when America drone killed 10 Afghanis last week? Totally same thing, right? I think the brother did very well handling and considering that how disgusting Douglas Murray. So nobody wants to condemn it, probably because they just don't feel ready.
They keep bringing up Douglas Murray. I'm guessing he posted something saying Muslim.
I think he's part of this. I think he's part of in this video. He's mentioned in this video. There was a live show apparently. Let's see. Let's watch. I don't hear anything. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, unmute side. Okay. No.
Hey, I could just dub everything.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
I'll give voiceover.
This morning I saw a tweet by Andy No. He's a journalist with over 1 million.
Is this loud enough? It's kind of.
I hear it fine here.
Okay, fine.
Followers on Twitter. He said, Muslim activist Abdullah Andalusi refuses to condemn the assassination attempt of author Salman Rushdie or the Iranian death fatwa after being asked directly during a television debate. Douglas K. Murray and Emma A. Webb call him out. The video clip currently has over 115,000 views, so I want to play the video and then share some of my thoughts.
You'll have noticed, and all of your viewers will have noticed, that this Islamist lunatic in your studio can't answer the basic question. Let's try it again and make it simple for you. Why don't you say whether or not you are completely condemning of any violence against Salman Rushdie or anyone else who is deemed to have said something heretical? Why don't we start with the basics for you?
Okay, first I want to answer.
Look, it's a very simple question and a very fair question, a very simple thing that everybody is curious about, right? Here is somebody who is invited on a television show to represent the Islamic point of view. So therefore, people expect him to, say something about this and to completely disagree with the violence. But let's see what he says.
His question, because he asked me first, which is about the Iranian regime. Well, having not being an Iranian citizen nor participated in any elections to elect the Iranian regime doesn't really represent 1.8 billion Muslims. And
okay, so if you're here representing 1.8 billion Muslims, it's very simple. Douglas has just said it. Do you, all right, as your own self, having heard what he said, do you accept people saying, be it the Iranian government or Muslim extremists, and I'm...
Wait, what's going on here? Why are they censored? I don't know.
caveat.
Oh, because that's Sajid's video. It's probably a woman in the studio, and Sajid's blurring her out. So
we can't have all my viewers lusting after this woman in the studio. I'll blur her out. If I had the skills, I would put a digital burqa on her.
people look at the whole thing and they shouldn't.
Look, guys, I'm an unstoppable fire hydrant of awesome ideas, but we could call that a blurka. We'll call it a blurka. He put a blurka on her.
That might become a new thing.
Wow.
That might become a new thing, right? That's a good idea.
Agree with anybody who comes up with the sentence, he was to blame for being knifed in broad daylight 15 times in his neck. Do you?
The only person to blame for knifing of Salman Rushdie is the assailant himself.
Not the Iranian regime who put the fatwa on him in the first place.
Well, unless you can demonstrate that they were specifically colluding or they sent an agent.
They said he was to blame.
Losing communication.
We'll give you millions of dollars if you kill this dude. And someone goes out and does it. They didn't actually do it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is awesome stuff, man. So notice Muhammad could command his followers to go out and kill people for making fun of him. His followers could do that for 14 centuries in obedience to his commands. And then entire governments of nations can offer millions of dollars to do it. And then when someone actually goes out and does it, only the guy who did it was responsible.
So apparently, if I say, hey, everybody, let's go, please go and kill that person, I will give you money, and then people go and actually kill that person, then apparently I have nothing to do with it. It's not my fault.
By the way, that happens all the time, where like a husband hires a hitman to kill his wife, or a wife hires a hitman to kill her husband or something like that, and they get caught. No one ever says, well, just because you were offering piles of money doesn't mean you had anything to do with it. No one says that, right?
I really would like to see that logic
insane.
Hold up in front of a court of law. Seriously. Here we have the woman censored again.
Her blurka.
They censored the object here so that we don't look at the object.
Wait, no,
what's going on?
That's their opinion, right? But I'm only here to talk about, if you're asking me who's to blame, I say the assailant, much like Douglas Murray said that the Christchurch killer, the one who massacred the Muslims in the mosque, only the killer was to blame, not those who radicalized him into viewing Muslims as a threat to the West.
What you'll find is that if somebody put millions of dollars on someone's head, yours, for instance, or mine, and somebody then attacked us, you would think that the person who had put millions of dollars on our head would bear some responsibility. But because you're such a dishonest weasel, you're not even willing to do that. You're not even willing to do the basic thing of condemning the attack.
Sticks and stones, Douglas Murray, sticks and stones.
Why don't we
You need to demonstrate that the person.
So there's something very, I mean, it is so obvious, isn't it? And I'm very glad that this happens on TV and that people are watching this. A representative of the Muslim community is called here, asked repeatedly to disapprove of this or to condemn this. And the guy doesn't stand up and say, no, I will not, because this is good. He deserves to be killed and to attacked. No, he refuses to condemn it. He refuses by deflecting again and again to other things, and thereby showing to everybody who has a little piece of a brain that this guy doesn't want to condemn attacks on people like Salman Rushdie who offend Islam because he approves of them, or because he's not against them, obviously.
Notice the complete hypocrisy here, right? Because there are actually multiple levels of hypocrisy here. But this idea that only the person who's actually doing something is responsible, that just flies in the face of Muhammad's teachings. I mean, when a Jewish tribe in Medina would set itself against Muhammad, it's not every single person in that tribe who's making the decision. It's a couple leaders of the tribe, and yet Muhammad would hold the entire tribe, every last person, right down to the children, responsible for what a few leaders of the tribe did. And yet, if Abdullah here is correct, then Muhammad was an evil, terrible person for holding everyone responsible for what a few leaders had done. Yeah.
I mean, we can also go back to Hitler, just because everyone loves to give an example of Hitler, but people always say that Hitler is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and others, but obviously that's not true, because he himself, I mean, do you have any evidence of Hitler himself personally going and killing people in concentration camps? No. You only have other people acting on their own behalf, so they are to blame, not him.
You could make a video titled Abdullah Andalusi defends Hitler. And then just point out how, following his words, hey, it's only the person who actually carries out the violence who's responsible.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hitler's okay then, according to Abdullah here.
Yeah, fantastic.
Hey, isn't this amazing that in order to defend your response to a violent attack, you have to actually throw your own prophet under the bus because you're completely contradicting him, and you just exonerated Hitler.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do in order to defend the Islamic logic here.
It's a very simple thing to do. You are asked about the incident. All you have to do is to say, of course, I am against such violence. I absolutely condemn this. But and then do whatever you want. He won't even do it. It's a very simple question, but he won't do it. And that just shows clearly to everybody that he doesn't want to. I'm sorry, if he would want to condemn it, if he actually personally condemned it, he would go ahead and condemn it. But he doesn't say that he condemns it because he doesn't want to condemn it, because he's not against it.
But by the way, I have to say, I mean,
he's motivated.
Douglas Murray, he doesn't mince words much, does he?
I know he has guts.
I saw him on something, because I haven't watched a lot by him. I've seen a few video clips and so on. But years ago, he had some sort of debate in New York with Ayaan Hirsi Ali, I think was his partner, against I think, was it Majid Nawaz?
Majid Nawaz and somebody else.
And so when they're talking about Aisha, Douglas Murray was saying, so you're defending a man who crawled on top of her and repeatedly raped a little girl, right? He just, he doesn't describe it as sex with a prepubescent girl. He's talking, referring to it as rape. And
I know he's brutal. He's brutal.
Pretty brutal, man.
He's good. That's how it should be.
By the reward.
So that was the viral video clip. And before we dig a bit deeper into what we just saw, I think we should begin with, number one, why this program would invite a Muslim on, and secondly, why a Muslim would go on that program. Now, it seems clear to me that they wanted to have somebody come on who's a Muslim who could represent the Muslim community. And specifically, they wanted to know whether or not a Muslim would condemn the attack, as well as who shares in the responsibility of this event. And they specifically reference the Iranian regime. So that seems to be why they wanted a Muslim on their program. Now, why would a Muslim go on their program? Now, I'm not saying that Muslims should go on these programs, but if they are, they have to be prepared for what's to come. They should be expecting these sorts of questions, and their goal should be to properly represent the Muslims well and to educate the people about Islam and invite them to Islam. Now, Abdullah al-Andalusi, he was introduced as the co-founder of the Muslim.
I find it so lovely that so far in the minute review, in the first minute of the review, he's
brought on there. You should be prepared, and you should be prepared to invite people to Islam. That's what they've been doing for over 20 years now, right? After the September 11th attack, people always ask, why did you have people who are converting to Islam after all these terrorist attacks? Well, notice what happened after every terrorist attack for more than a decade. After every single terrorist attack, every media organization would have a bunch of Muslim spokesmen come out, condemn the attack, and tell people how wonderful Islam was, right? So the message we're getting, so after the more terrorist attacks there were, the more free dawah time they got on mainstream news programs. They got to go out and do their dawah and tell how, explain how Islam is wonderful and how it's great. And it's, hey, you believe Islam is just peace, man. It means peace. And we believe in God. You believe in God, don't you? We believe in submitting to God. You believe in submitting to God. What's the problem? What could be more wonderful than that? And so it worked for a long time, but in almost every one of these situations, it's the media bending over backwards saying, hey guys, we want you to come out and tell everyone what real Islam is, as opposed to what that terrorist did. And here they bring on Abdullah Andalusi for that purpose, and then, hey, condemn it. And no, not going to do it. Not going to do it. And then, oopsie, we don't know what to do here.
We didn't expect that they would actually ask to condemn this.
No,
We
no,
never.
no,
We didn't thought.
he could have done exactly what they've been doing for decades. He could have said, "Oh yes, we condemn this because Islam is a religion of peace and tolerance, and the beloved Prophet Muhammad, he as people were spitting on him and throwing rocks, he never retaliated." They could have made up all kinds of stuff and preached Islam, and he didn't do that. And so apparently it's a disaster because he didn't stick with the pattern that's worked so well for them for a couple decades now.
You know what the issue is? Even if these people, even if they were personally against the attack on Salman Rushdie and others, if they went on here on TV and said, "I condemn this," they would get a lot of backlash and anger from the Muslim followers and the Muslim listeners who would attack them for doing that, and we see that. I mean, I've gathered such comments too, where you see that a Muslim person who is not very religious comes and says, "I totally condemn this," and then you see Muslims in the comment section say, "Be quiet, you don't represent us. He should have died," and so on. So, yeah, but let's go ahead and see if our friend Sajid Libam at least condemns it. Maybe he will. I don't know.
Muslim Debate Initiative. And although only a 2-minute clip went viral, the full segment is about 14 minutes. And the only place I was able to find the full segment was on the Muslim Debate Initiative archive. And how did they frame this segment? They framed it as a debate. The title says Full TV Debate, Abdullah al-Andalusi versus Douglas Murray and others. And I think that's a problem right there. This wasn't a debate. And approaching this like it's a debate was problematic. So if one understands the platform and the audience, I feel like the very first thing that should be done is to condemn the attack. Such an attack is against Islam, and that's what you're being brought on this platform to represent. And I want to be clear in also saying we condemn Salman Rushdie's book. We condemn this idea that people who are as
Wait, did he just condemn it? Did he just condemn the attack because it's, well, I don't know. I don't understand. You see, the transition there didn't make any sense to me.
Like the very
is he saying that this is what people expect?
It sounded like he said, "I condemn that violent attack and I condemn the book." That's
okay,
what it sounded
like it's a debate was problematic. So if one understands the platform and the audience, I feel like the very first thing that should be done is to condemn the attack. Such an attack is against Islam, and that's what you're being brought on this platform to represent. And I want to be clear in also saying we condemn Salman Rushdie's book. We condemn this idea that people who are as disrespectful as humanly possible deserve some sort of praise and recognition. I can condemn both. I can condemn these people who are taking justice into their own hands and thinking it's upon them to be judge, jury, and executioner. And I can also be against people saying the most disgusting, abhorrent, offensive, inappropriate things possible. But let's also think, why is it? If this is
okay, so he is saying that this is apparently against Islam. To take justice into your own hands, to be vigilant. He's not saying, as far as I have heard, that it is wrong and worthy of condemnation to kill somebody who offends Islam, which is the actual question of the presented in the clip. So he will not say that, but he does say that it is against Islam to take initiative and to take matters into your own hands, right?
Yeah, he's saying something similar to Ali Dawa in the famous clip where he's saying that you'd be executed in Islamic State, and he goes, not idiots going around doing it themselves. No, it's under an emir. Now the problem here with what he's saying is we do have examples of vigilante murders in Islam for people who are making fun of Muhammad, right? You got that in Sunan Abu Dawud. Man kills the mother of his children, his slave girl, for making fun of Muhammad. Muhammad says no retaliation for her blood. And I guess Sajid could say, well, yeah, we wouldn't punish him or anything, but we still condemn it.
Yeah. There is also the other incident where he asks somebody to rid him of someone who offended or hurt Allah and His Messenger, and he allows that his companion to go and lie and to lure the target and then to assassinate him. I mean, these are things that Muhammad himself allowed. These were not executions that were done with some due process and a judge who hears everybody out and all that. No, it was just Muhammad sending people to kill others. That's how it happened. Now the issue here is, it's good that Sajid Libam here says this is against Islam, and we can condemn both. We condemn, people who are vigilant and who take matters into their own hands, and we condemn people like Salman Rushdie who say absolutely horrible, disgusting things. But the issue is, you're just asked a very simple question. do you condemn, are you against killing or harming people who offend Islam and your Islamic religion and characters and whatever it is? Do you condemn it or not? It's just so simple. If you find it wrong, then take it seriously, make a video about it, make a post on it, do something. No, they won't. All we get is a little part in which he says that that vigilantism is wrong, is against Islam, because this guy knows very well. I mean, he did the same thing when I asked him about killing apostates, for example. He knows very well that that is not against Islam. Killing people who are blasphemers or who mock his religion is not against Islam. Just vigilantism is against Islam. That's it. He would still approve of killing people in the name of his religion if we lived in an Islamic environment or if Muslims had power. He never, ever said, nor will he say, I assume, maybe I'm wrong, that it's wrong to kill people who offend Islam.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would be on the same page. I think a lot of Muslims, although I mean, you see what people are saying on Twitter and all these other platforms who are celebrating it. But Sajid does have a point in that you can make the case. You can make the case that random Muslims should not be running out and slaughtering people. The problem is these guys have fatwas, right? This guy's obeying a fatwa, right? So his religious leaders, because of the example of Muhammad, said this guy needs to die. So this isn't some random guy randomly going out and doing this. This is a man who believes he's following the orders of his religious scholars.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I mean, the guy who went and killed Salman Rushdie did exactly what he is supposed to do according to his own religion, according to his Shia religion, according to his loyalty and adherence to the religious leaders that he is supposed to stay loyal to. His religious leaders said Salman Rushdie must be killed. Somebody should go and kill him, and we will give him so much money. And the guy, because he loved his own religion and his leader so much, obeyed this order and went there and tried to kill Salman Rushdie and did not even succeed. What an idiot. So he did what actually he was supposed to do according to his religion. Sajid Lipim here can come and say, this is vigilantism, but it's not even vigilantism. The guy was just following his own religious beliefs and requirements. It might be that Sajid Lipim is not a Shia Muslim, and he doesn't recognize the Shia religion or the Shia leaders as authoritative, valid leaders. And of course, that is the case. This guy is against Shia Islam. They don't consider Shia people Muslims even. But again, that would just be a difference, a disagreement between your religious creeds. It's not like this guy is against somebody going and killing people. If Muslims today had a caliphate, if there was a caliph, and the caliph said Salman Rushdie must be killed, somebody should go and do it, and somebody then went and killed that person, then that would not be vigilantism. It would be somebody obeying his religious rulers and going and killing somebody. Which is why the question is very simple and the answer should be very clear. Do you condemn killing people in the name of your religion if they offend your religion? Yes or no? Very damn simple. Yeah.
This is clearly against Islam. Why is it that sometimes Muslims get upset when they are asked to condemn such behavior? Well, perhaps that's because Muslims find it very hypocritical that we are expected to. Other demographics of people are responsible for more killings, but we don't expect all of them to condemn individual crimes, which leads me to the two.
Yeah, they do. And you cannot show anything similar to this. It's the Muslim community loudly approving of this, and somebody being killed, attacked or killed in the name of Islam. And all of you apologists are expected to say something about this. You can spend 7 minutes with a video on this, but you can't spend 2 minutes, 2 seconds saying, this is absolutely wrong. I completely condemn such things.
reasons why I believe Muslims are pushed to condemn such actions when they occur. People who push Muslims to condemn such things are one of two things. Number one, they're simply ignorant. They genuinely don't know what Islam says about these things. But for how long does a certain group of people have to condemn stereotypes about themselves? At what point does it become the responsibility of the other party to stop being ignorant? But then you have the second category, and these people, it's not about being educated with them. They already made up their mind about Islam. They just want to belittle Muslims and see them cower. And
What an idiotic approach. It's like, oh, we're not doing this because their intentions in asking us to condemn this are not right anyway. So even if we this reminds me of the Quran when it says, and they say, show me a miracle. But even if we showed them a miracle, they would still not believe. And it doesn't show people a miracle. It's the same logic, the same energy here. This guy is like, we could condemn it, but even if we condemn it, people wouldn't, appreciate it anyway. They just say it to belittle us. Therefore, it's not happening.
Notice the problem, because on Twitter and TikTok, Facebook, people were recording the responses as the attack was being announced, as news was emerging about the attack. And you would see hundreds of comments in a row praising the attack, right? So to act like, if you're at all concerned about this, it's just because of your ignorance. Wait a minute. Muhammad ordered his followers to kill people for making fun of him. His followers sometimes did it vigilante style, no command at all, just murdered someone. Muslims have been calling for violence against Salman Rushdie for decades now. You had entire governments doing it. And then a guy finally does it, and you have, countless Muslims from around the world praising the guy, and people start going, wait a minute, it looks like, does Islam actually teach this stuff? And it's, they're just ignorant of Islam. Well, dude, if people are that ignorant about Islam, correct the Muslims, because you're telling us because it's Muslims who are celebrating this. And so if they're wrong, if they're in a state of ignorance, dude, you need to be correcting them, not us.
Plus, if this is such an issue, if you are so bothered by people apparently stereotyping Muslims because they ask you to condemn such attacks, people like Sajid Lipham and others take the opportunity to make response videos to absolutely trivial, ridiculous things that happen around the world. If this is such an issue, why don't you sit down, dear Sajid Lipham? Why don't you sit down and take this fantastic opportunity and clear this misconception once and for all? You do your part. Sit down and make a video explaining to people that it's absolutely wrong to kill people who offend Islam. They don't deserve to be killed. They don't deserve to be attacked. Why don't you do that? Isn't this doesn't this have some very high priority here, as we can see? Apparently, you want to clear the doubts and misconceptions of people and the prejudices. And apparently this is a very big one out there. So shouldn't you take this seriously and sit down and make a video in which you address directly that, instead of sitting here and saying, well, these are just misconceptions and people they just want to belittle us? Well, do something then. Sit down and do something then. Make a video about it then. You won't, because we all know that Islam does not condemn the killing of people who offend Islam. And that is the truth of it.
They want to associate Islam with such things, to try to push people away from Islam, or to try to push people to change Islam. And this, of course, can push Muslims to not want to condemn anything, even though it might be against our religion, even though we might condemn it. We don't like being bullied and pushed around and disrespected. We're not extremists, and we are against extremism, but we are not cowards. We deserve respect just like you deserve respect. So if you speak down to us, don't be surprised.
You are an extremist. You are an extremist. I'm sorry. You are an extremist. I don't know what else needs to be said. You are an extremist. I view, or most of society would view, somebody who wants to establish, who thinks an Islamic state should be established, in which Islam would rule and people would be put into different classes of, Muslim and disbelievers and those who are not accepted, and who also believes in establishing apostasy punishments, blasphemy laws, and all of that. People would view that as extremism. So insofar you are an extremist, you want to take you want your religion to rule over us and to change society into this totalitarian system. So are you, or are you not, by our definition, an extremist? David, you can always jump in and tell me that you all want to say something, but yeah.
No, I'm just wondering if he's got anything else or if that's
No.
pretty much it for what
Let's
he's
see.
saying.
Let's see.
If you're met with some resistance. Now, lastly, I want to respond to the second aspect of the video, which is regarding who is responsible for this crime. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever calls to guidance will have a reward similar to those who follow him without detracting from their rewards at all. And whoever calls to misguidance will have sin upon him similar to those who follow him without detracting from their sin at all. So the person who committed the crime, of course, they are responsible for their actions. And also anybody who encouraged and promoted such behavior, Allah will also hold them accountable. Allah is the all-knowing. He knows every single thing that every single one of us do. And a day is coming where we will be held accountable for how we live this life. I encourage all of us to get closer to our Lord, to seek knowledge of him, to learn about him, to learn about the reality of this life, about what's right and wrong, to learn the truth about Islam and the revelation that Allah sent us, detailing how to live our lives properly.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, we wait for history, whose scripture,
So, what do you think? First of all, he should have said that the Ayatollah Khomeini is responsible. He is guilty and totally wrong. He should have said that.
I mean, he's saying that this person is going to be accountable before Allah for what he did, and that the people who encouraged him to do it are going to be held accountable as well. But it's like, wait, they called on a critic of Muhammad to be killed, and someone actually went and tried to kill the guy who made fun of Muhammad, and these guys are in trouble with Allah. You
don't know. Allah will stay
doing
there.
exactly what Muhammad ordered.
Allah will talk to them. Allah will talk to the guy and say, what did you do? Why did you go and kill somebody who offended me and my messenger? Do you not know that Islam is a religion of peace? Now you will be punished for what you have done, you disobedient little mad, because you did not know that Islam is such a peaceful religion. I am Allah and I condemn this behavior. That's what will happen.
This guy is going to be held accountable for obeying the Prophet Muhammad. He's a Shia. He's not supposed to be obeying Muhammad. Should have been a Sunni. It should have been a Sunni. Why couldn't it have been a Sunni?
Should have been one of us.
If I were Shia, I'd be using this. You see, we're the ones who truly carry out the commands of Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
That's how I'd be rolling.
Iran responded to it, by the way, I think, and they said that the only people responsible are Salman Rushdie and people like him, or something like that, I think. So they did what everyone expects from the Muslims. I think I want to go to another video here, which is Mohammed Hijab's video. I think that's the one that everybody recommended to me. I don't know why. I started watching it and I thought, what the hell is this? And turned it off. But yeah, I will now keep it together.
He posted two. So is this the...
This is the first one, reacting to someone... No, wait, this is Ali Dawa, actually. Wait, what is going on?
Your brothers and sisters in Islam...
Here you go.
Okay, let's just watch this.
People are asking me, do you condemn this? But no, I say we're proud of that.
No way.
You know what's coming.
But this one is going to be Mohammed Hijab. Let's see.
Our established educational institution. Back to the...
It's funny. Of course Muslims are going to kill you. Of course we're going to kill you for making fun of our prophet. Help us build a mosque.
That's how are you guys?
Wait.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Many of you will be aware of the recent...
I just don't understand. I swear, I turned on this video. He started talking, and I was like, get out of here. I closed it immediately. I have no idea what he says.
Golden shower's a job.
I don't understand how people can listen to this fake masculinity show here. Or you could talk like this. I could talk like this. We could be exactly like this, but we don't. Apparently, this is the Muslim way to go here.
Attack on one Salman Rushdie.
What is going on? This is so crazy.
Individual who is an open advocate against or detractor of Islam and the Islamic Prophet. ever since that time when he wrote his book, he and the fatwa was by the corrupt state of Iran was declared upon him. There has been, or at least he has become, an emblematic figure for the cause of freedom of expression and speech, and especially in neoconservative or right-wing quadrants of particular political discussion, we find that freedom of speech is juxtaposed with Islamic blasphemy laws, for example, or things of that nature, or Islam and Muslims in general, or indeed Muslim reactions to desecrations of the sacred symbols of Islam. So there's this juxtaposition which we find in the orientalizing type of literature that we see in books and academia, and of course on the media as well. Question is, of course, is such a thing even appropriate considering the circumstances? Now, that's what I want to say is, from as much as I know, in America, for example, in the UK, in the US, and much of the West, in fact, most of the West, we don't see particular pieces of legislation which are aimed against things like blasphemy law. But we don't find the same free speech absolutists, individuals who are...
I don't know why there's a weird thing going on here. It's on my screen. Yeah. Just get to the point, man.
Talking about free speech and advocating its merits, talk about other things which are in fact enshrined into legislation. For example, of course, Holocaust denial being one of them. Of course, we don't necessarily advocate such a position.
Oh my God. I mean, isn't it so simple? Why don't people just get to the point instead of deflecting and talking about all kinds of unrelated things? Just get to the point, man. Why don't we just get to the point?
Just for the record. Just for the record. Or want to antagonize our good friends from the Jewish community. But if one is truly a free speech absolutist, shouldn't one be lobbying against with all vociferousness and vigor? Shouldn't one be lobbying against such a law in any meaningful way? Shouldn't we be seeing our Twitter feeds flooded with messages against those governments in Europe and elsewhere that have made Holocaust denial something which is illegal and a criminal offense? Shouldn't we be seeing protests across the streets of Berlin and London on such a matter?
I remember Mohammed Hijab saying, I know the enemies of Islam they're listening and they're shaking right now. They need to use the toilet now. Mohammed Hijab, when you talk like this, you see our natural response to it, right? Are the only reason that I'm shaking right now is because this is so ridiculous and so cringeworthy that I'm forcing myself to sit here and listen to this.
It is pretty terrible.
The reason why we're not seeing it is because individuals who are proponents for free speech absolutism usually, or sometimes at least, employ the most terrible of double standard. Now,
well, does he normally talk like this? I mean, I've seen. I haven't watched a ton of hijab clips. It's usually when I'm making a video about something he said. But does he normally talk like this?
He's trying to put on a theatrical thing to be more effective in preaching to the audience, but it's just so bad and so extreme and so overdone. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks like a bad actor, right?
Yeah, horrible
bad actor trying to,
horrible actor. Yeah, I mean, we all know he doesn't talk like this. I mean, he talks to me. We see him have conversations with people. He doesn't talk like that.
He talks like this. Golden showers, golden showers, believe. Oh, ha, ha. Women want to be raped deep down. They want a real man to come and rape them. Ha ha! That's how he talks.
It's so fake. It's like terrible.
With the Muslim cause or Islam in general. But what I am saying is be consistent to your own cause. When Gutless Murray himself recently came and spoke to my good colleague.
That's actually funny. They call him Gutless Murray. That's funny.
Yeah. It's a very narcissistic thing to do, to think of, belittling nicknames for every person who is your opponent. And Mohammed Hijab is like, he's he's the king of that. He gives people all kinds of names because he doesn't want to use their actual names. He doesn't want to respect them. That's what he's brilliant at.
Friend and mentor, and tried to corner him because he is a gutless coward who cannot and has not responded to any of our debate offers in the past, when he himself had the audacity to question Abdullah Andalusi, a figure whose books are everywhere in most bookshops in the West. And at the same time, he tries to restrict the freedom of speech through the Henry Jackson Society of Muslim Speakers. That, if not a double standard, what could it be?
It's going on.
Now, you got to freeze it right there, man. What could it be?
What is going on? Wait a minute.
Of Muslim speakers. That, if not a double standard, what could it be? What could it be? What is it then, if it's not double standard? Hypocrisy from you people. It's not about freedom of speech, you liars. You are a liar.
I said this recently when I made a live stream about Daniel Hikachu reviewing his fallacies, and I do it here again. Now, Muhammad Hijab is somebody who brags about having an education in philosophy, and again, he doesn't understand what freedom of speech means. And
it seems they almost never do. It seems like I can't think of a time where any of these guys like actually described the concept or what anyone means by it correctly.
I mean, I took like a course in philosophy and read a few books. I'm not a philosophy major, graduate from in any degree. This guy is supposed to have like a very solid philosophy education, which he brags about, but he still doesn't know what freedom of speech is actually about. He still gets it wrong. It is just, I feel like I'm living in some weird reality. It's like maybe I'm high, or I don't know, something weird is going on. This guy still doesn't know that freedom of speech has nothing to do with that. When you corner somebody and ask them for their opinion, you ask them to speak out, to say something, because you know that they will not condemn this attack, and you ask them to condemn it, but they don't condemn it. That doesn't mean we are forcing them to say something. No, it means that we are, pushing them to give us the answer that we are looking for, which does not mean we are suppressing their free speech or anything. No, it means we are having a discussion trying to reveal people's true faces and intentions and beliefs. This has really nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the concept of free speech, which Muhammad Hijab should have learned as a philosophy student or scholar.
And I mean, think about this. It's you've got a religion that calls for the violent subjugation of the entire world, calls non-Muslims the worst of creatures. Muhammad says, I've been commanded to fight people until they say there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. You've got all of these commands about non-Muslims, about women. These affect us, right? I mean, right? You're an apostate. I'm a critic of Islam. We're both under a death sentence. You're under multiple death sentences, according to Islamic law. The idea that we can't say anything about that, right? That we have to keep our mouths shut, right? Because notice, if a man claims to be a prophet and says, these guys, David and AP included, have to be killed because of their actions, and we don't want to be killed, the response is, don't listen to that guy. He's a fake prophet. Don't believe him. Don't believe what that guy says. As soon as we say that, it's, that's blasphemy. You have to be killed. And it's just, I mean, think about what, like, they still don't get it. Why would you want to criticize Muhammad? Muhammad calls for the violent subjugation of the entire world, right? Yeah. We've seen with Ali Dawah what Muhammad called for. We've seen with Sheikh Asim al-Hakim about, hey, looking forward to the future, going door to door, telling people to convert to Islam, pay the jizya, or be murdered right there at your door. And we say we don't want that. And so we would obviously want to criticize that. And the response, you can't criticize it. That's blasphemy against us. How dare you? And then if someone kills us over it, it's, but what about Holocaust denial? Is like, what? Dude,
It is just, I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. Of course, I, as somebody who is ordered to be killed by Muhammad himself, will come here and speak out against Muhammad and will say, "Hey, I'm totally against this guy. If you think there's something wrong with me for doing that, then I think there's certainly something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be out there trying to kill me for that. And if I ask you to condemn those who try to kill me, if I expect you to do that, then I'm also not suppressing your freedom of speech. I'm just asking you to be a proper human, which you refuse to be." They appeal to distractions and to concepts like freedom of speech, which they don't even agree with, in order to avoid a simple thing. I condemn violence against people who offend Islam. Very, very simple.
And you are all liars. It's not about freedom of speech. It is about the selective use of freedom of speech in order to inhibit and derail and diminish the rights of Muslim people who happen to...
Every time he does it, all I hear is, "Me strong, me strong, me strong, me stronger than you." That's all I hear.
He probably thinks the attack on Salman Rushdie is also freedom of speech. But that's what I expect from this big brain guy here.
In Western lands. That's really what's going on, isn't it? Because you don't want to admit that. Because you have an ulterior agenda. In fact,
no, Mohammed Hijab, you're an idiot who simply doesn't understand what's going on here. And you try to deflect with something, with your poor, stupid, ulterior motives that you actually have, which you represent here. And it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, when we expect you to condemn violence, and when we stand up for critics and for their rights to openly speak, yes, we are defending freedom of speech. Nowhere in this is a plan, a strategy to suppress the freedom of speech of Muslims or any of that. How in the world, how in hell do you even get to that? I mean, you just have to really force yourself and work really hard in your brain to come up with that deflection, with that excuse. Nobody's trying to suppress the freedoms of Muslims. Everything is very simple. People like Salman Rushdie have the right to speak, and you don't have the right to kill them. Say it with me. That's all, man. Jihad face. Look at that.
Resting jihad face.
You need us more than anything else, because we are the very community which you need to tell your children, who will grow up being, in some cases, white supremacists, in other cases, at least fierce nationalists against any ethnic minority outside of themselves, to say, this is what you're not. You need us. You need us to be the scapegoat that you can blame for every mistake that happens in your life, every failure that you have, which is why it is no coincidence that
Does this remind you of Scarface? Did you see Scarface?
I've seen. Wait, what about Scarface? I saw Scarface like 90 times when I was a kid.
Yeah, where he is in that club, and he gets very violent, I think, with his new wife, and then people are shocked, and he's like, "You need people like me, so you can point at me." And
but I mean, notice what's going on here, right? Okay, hey, you've got a religion that really looks like it calls for brutally murdering people who make fun of it in response to your religion calling for the violent subjugation of the entire world. So notice, your religion calls for the actual violent subjugation of the entire world and spends 14 centuries trying to violently subjugate the world. It seems we might want to respond to it. And if we're going to respond to it, pretty good to respond to it peacefully through criticism, even mockery. So Salman Rushdie does that. He responds peacefully through criticism and mockery. And then Hijab is, you need us. You need us as the scapegoat. Dude, he just stabbed this guy like 15 times, including in the face, trying to brutally murder him. And people say, hey, do you condemn it? And you need us as the scapegoats, blah, 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 because your children who are going to be white supremacists. Like, and what's funny is I'm sure his fans are like, yes, oh, alhamdulillah, Hijab saving us again with his chest thumping. And it's like, what is this? How is this how the foremost champions of Islam respond to issues?
This is exactly why I'm bringing up Scarface, because the logic is the same. It's actually perfect because the guy, he's in the restaurant and he is being the villain, the bad guy for everyone plainly, to see. And he then turns around and says, "You need people like me so you can point at me. I am the villain. I'm the bad guy." And then he leaves and says, "Say goodnight to the bad guy." So he is actually the bad guy in plain sight, and then turns around and tells people, "You need people like me," as a scapegoat. And Mohammed Hijab here, who is on the side of the violence and the hate, turns around and tells people who call him out and to look at him, "You need people like me. You need the scapegoat." It's the same. It's very much the same logic. It's very ironic to me. Look in the mirror, man.
Most right-wing, far-right individuals like Tommy Robinson and his ilk are the most uneducated, low IQ individuals in all of society.
And believe me, because I'm wearing spectacles now. Does Tommy Robinson wear spectacles like this?
Oh boy.
Is to conclude as follows. My friend Ali Dawa has made a very good point in his videos, a very, very good point, which is that he said, why do you specialize Islam in this discussion when if the sacred symbols of other peoples from other faiths, as we've seen with the Hindutva in India, he makes the example of Ataturk in Turkey, some Kurdish leader he mentions. We can go on and on. If you try and desecrate the sacred symbols of individuals, the gangster communities among them will deal with you, my friends.
Look at that.
We're not condoning such a thing at all. But that is a reality. We, the Muslims, at 1.8 billion, which represent, according to Pew, will represent a third of the population of the world. 1 in 3, at least 1 in 4 now. You don't think we have gangsters? We have Muslim gangsters as well.
Oh, you got gangsters. You got your gangsters, Hijab.
Did you just say we have gangsters?
We have gangsters.
Did you just say we have gangsters?
We have gangsters. Oh, we have gangsters. We
Don't you think
strong.
we have the gangsters?
We're stronger than you.
Yes. 1.8 billion? Don't you think we have gangsters? Yes.
And I have to say, I like where he's going with this.
Me too.
I mean, one, it's stupid, right? I mean, totally stupid point. Salman Rushdie was brutally attacked in New York for making fun of Muhammad. If someone else were brutally attacked for criticizing Christianity, Hinduism, anything else, yes, people would condemn that too.
Yes.
And so what in the world is he talking about? I do like this resting jihad face yelling.
Well, I make the same challenge that I made earlier. Again, actually, so Mohammed Hijab was the first person to approach me several times and wanted to debate me, wanted to have a conversation with me, wanted people to report me so my channel and my Patreon gets deleted and all of that. I gave Mohammed Hijab a very big opportunity here today and to show him, in the 21st century, can you please bring me one incident where somebody was killed for offending Christianity and Christian beliefs, and where Christians across the world, where most Christians across the world approved of it and celebrated it? I swear, do it. Do it. I promise. Anybody, not just Mohammed Hijab, with your beautiful face here, anybody, if you want me to delete my channel forever and say goodbye, prove this to me. Bring me one example, and I will immediately delete this channel. I swear.
I want to see how he finishes this.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he's saying, hey, since there's 1.8 billion of us, yeah, there are enough people there who are going to come and kill you. And it sounds like he's going to say, hey, you can't blame us for these people who are going to come to kill you if you start it by making fun of Muhammad.
He said very explicitly to me that if you offend his religion, then we should expect Muslim vigilance to come and kill us. But I can play it afterwards. Give me a second. Let's finish this. Oh, wait.
And 3, at least 1 in 4 now. You don't think we have gangsters? We have Muslim gangsters as well. And when you go ahead and attack the sacred symbols of Islam, although our approach is not to do so, we can't stop the gangsters from dealing with you or anyone else.
Oh, awesome point. Awesome point. This is a point I've been making for years, and I mean this is worthy of a video in itself.
Wow.
Look at what he just said. Right? He just said, "We can't stop these guys. We can't stop the people in Islam within our religion who go out and kill you for making fun of our religion. We can't stop them." So notice what he just said, because it's very, very important. Let's assume that the vast, overwhelming majority of Muslims are peaceful. What if the vast, overwhelming majority of Muslims are peaceful, but they say, you know, we're peaceful, but if you criticize our religion in any way or you leave Islam, they're the gangsters over here and they're going to come kill you, and there's nothing we can do to stop them.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I can criticize your religion now on that basis, right? That wherever Islam spreads, there are people who are going to kill me for criticizing it. And all of you peaceful Muslims admit you cannot do anything about them. So what you're saying is there's this violent minority who are waiting to kill us, and that there is nothing the rest of you can do to stop them. And so wherever Islam spreads, it will inevitably lead to violence from this group that you admit you cannot control.
That's exactly what he says.
That's an important point, I think.
So
that is good to know. That is good to know, right? Granting everything these guys are telling us about Islam right now, right? Even if they were to condemn the attack, it's like they're saying, hey guys, you know, I'm peaceful, but my friend here isn't, and he's going to brutally murder. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but he will. He's going to kill you. So even though I'm for, you know, I believe in freedom of speech, he's not, and he's going to brutally murder you. So
and I can't stop him.
You better watch what you're saying. I can't stop this.
I can't stop him. Sorry.
Okay, good. You admitted you can't stop him, and so your religion is hopelessly violent because you can't stop these guys.
Yes, it is
okay,
dangerous.
So we'll try to stop them by ridiculing and mocking their fake prophet until there's such a tsunami, there's such an avalanche of apostasy that there are too few guys around who take this seriously to want to kill us.
Yeah. We have it very plainly, very clearly right here. The guy is saying it for us. We don't even need to add this commentary. He's saying it right here for us.
Yeah, he made a great point. That
so
point was golden, no pun intended.
Can't stop the Muslim gangsters from dealing with you or anyone else. Just like if you go to Colombia and you speak about particular cartel in a specific manner, go to their area and be a man and speak about them.
Exactly. That's what I always say.
Cartel. Islam is just like a cartel.
Islam is just like a gang. Islam is like a gang. It's like a gang, like a cartel. The cartel, Islam comes to you and tells you to convert. At least the gangsters don't tell you to become part of them, but it comes to you and then forces you to pay protection money and says, hey, you are now our subjects. You will do as we say, and you will regularly pay us money so we can protect you. If you fail to pay us, then we will come here and mess you up and possibly kill you. And by the way, if you offend us, if you say something about us, if you piss us off, then we will come and kill you. Our gangsters will come and kill you. I mean, we can't stop them. Yes, Islam and those cartels are very similar. What wonderful, fantastic point, Mohammed Hijab. Great point. Islam is just like a violent gang. You said
that could be the title of a video. Mohammed Hijab declares Islam is like the drug cartel.
Yeah.
Wow. You want free speech absolutism? Don't just deny the Holocaust. Mock it if you're a real man and see what happens to your career.
You hear this? Mock the Holocaust. Notice you pointed out earlier, right? You pointed out earlier that they don't understand freedom of speech, right? So notice, according to Hijab now, believing in freedom of speech means you have to say anything that is horribly offensive to tons of people, right?
Yes.
It doesn't mean, hey, if you want to say something, you should be allowed to say it. It means you have to go out and say things, even that you don't believe in, right? Hey, wait a minute. I believe the Holocaust occurred. I believe it's bad. But according to him, if I really believe in free speech, I should be mocking the Holocaust and denying it. for freedom of speech. What is this dude's problem, man?
He also
Like,
thinks
is he a freaking idiot? Because that's like the stupidest nonsense I've ever heard.
he also thinks that if you are a free speech, absolute, if you believe in free speech, and somebody comes and insults you and says horrible things to you, and you don't like it, then that means you're a hypocrite because it's just freedom of speech for somebody.
We did see.
That's what he thinks.
We did see that a bunch before when he was on Twitter. He's posting all these things,
Yeah.
Aha! If you're offended, then you don't believe in freedom of speech. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? It's like the stupidest.
That is so stupid. It's so incredibly stupid. I mean, a beginner in philosophy, a beginner in the concept of freedom of speech, a beginner of political philosophy who becomes familiar with these things shouldn't make such a mistake. And this guy comes here and says that. I told him, I will not have a conversation with you. You said horrible things. You kept insulting my wife. Why would I? And he's like, don't be worried about that. It's freedom of speech. It's also freedom of speech. Dude, what in the world are you talking? Are you dumb?
Yeah, it is freedom of speech. He is allowed to insult you, your wife, me, my wife. He's allowed to do it. We're not going to kill him. We're not going to kill him. The government is not going to stop him. He's not going to go to jail for it. He just has to accept the consequences. But we will respond to it with speech.
Yes,
we'll respond to it with speech, not by brutally murdering. But the idea that you have to. You can't disagree with it, right? Because it's my speech, therefore you can't disagree with it. It's like, are you in? I mean, I'm trying to figure out if he's really this dumb or if he's just pandering to his followers because he knows they're dumb. I don't know.
Well, he knows that the majority of his followers have no clue what he's talking about when he talks about such things. So he might be appealing to them, but I suspect that he himself might be just as dumb as well. I don't know.
Black communities, I want to see how strong you are. Free speech, Douglas Murray, and others like you. Why don't you speak about the black community in a racially insensitive way?
Why would he? Why would he?
If you believe in freedom of speech, then you have to go and call black people horrible racist names.
Why in the world would he?
Oh boy.
Are you stupid, man? Are you stupid, you boy?
and keep in mind, right? Because you can say racist. You are allowed. I can't speak for all countries here because I don't know the laws in various countries. Here in the United States, you can say horrible racist things, right? You are protected. The government's not going to stop you from saying horrible racist things. The idea that if you believe in free speech, you should say them, even if you don't believe in them, right? Like, no, if you believe in freedom of speech, you should say these. You should go to a black neighborhood and start hurling out the N-word. Why? I don't want to do that, right? I want to criticize Muhammad because he calls for my violent subjugation. He's the most obvious false prophet in history. And he encourages his followers to, have sex with little girls and beat their wives into submission. I want to criticize and to kill us. He orders his followers to kill us. And we see the results, the consequences of his teachings around the world. We want to stop that. And we want to do so peacefully through criticism. And the response is, well, why don't you go around calling people the N-word and denying the Holocaust?
Yeah.
What is this dude, man?
Very, very simple, Mohammed Hijab. I believe personally, as a defender of freedom of speech and an atheist, I believe it is entirely okay, entirely acceptable for people to go out and say all atheists are disabled. All atheists are mentally, diminished morons or whatever it is. All atheists are. I think it's completely acceptable to go out and say that. That should not be forbidden. I defend that right to go out and say that. That said, I would, of course, not come out here and say that because why? Because I don't believe that to be true. Because I know that it's not true. Because I myself would be insulting myself with that as well. So why would I do it? On the other hand, I also think everybody should be able to criticize Islam. And I would come out here and criticize Islam. Why? Because I think Islam is worthy of criticism, because Islam has several aspects like the intolerance and hate and ridiculousness and violence, which I think should be criticized. That is the difference, Mohammed Hijab. And That's what freedom of speech is about.
Yeah, it's noticed that there are only two settings. It's either Sharia blasphemy laws or everyone has to say the worst things imaginable all the time, even things they don't believe in. Those are the alternatives, according to hijab.
What an idiot, man.
And then go to Harlem or Detroit and see what happens. See if there's any gangsters there that will slice and dice you and chew you. Don't you dare speak about Islam or the Muslims where you cannot and you will not debate people like me or Abdullah Andalusi or Ali Dawa in a one-on-one, Zishan, any of us in a one-on-one environment. With that,
what is up with this dude, man?
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu
finally. Yo, notice what you were just saying. You were saying, hey, I don't want to go around saying atheists are mentally disabled, but you would support a person's legal right to say it and not be killed for that sort of thing. But imagine if you adopted hijab's approach, right? Right after someone makes fun of atheists and says something about Richard Dawkins or something like that, someone goes out, an atheist run out and kill this dude or stab him or stuff like that for making fun of atheism. You come out there and, hey, we have so many atheists, we can't stop the gangsters among us, and so
atheists have gangsters
too. Kill us. Of course they're gonna come kill you. Of course they're gonna kill you for saying that. We can't control them. We can't control them. You would sound insane, and yet. This is what we're seeing, not from some random Muslim off the street, not from some random Muslim commenting on TikTok. This is from one of the pillars of modern dawah, Muhammad Hijab. And wow, how many years have I been saying this, AP? all we need are the right guys in place, and they will expose Islam for what it is.
Exactly. Muhammad Hijab already caused somebody like Michaela Peterson to come out and publicly, connect this whole issue to Islam and to say, this is why Islam is the only topic that I'm worried about discussing. And who did that? Muhammad Hijab did that. I didn't do that. You didn't do that. It was Muhammad Hijab himself who started that, who talked to her and presented Islam in such a horrible way that she accepted to talk with me and to listen to more stuff about Islam, and then ended up saying, you know what, the only thing I'm worried about here talking is Islam. He does it. He really does the job, man.
Didn't we say that would happen when they started, when their plans became clear?
Yeah.
That this new plan, hey, if I go, we're going to get Muslim speakers on, Jordan Peterson's podcast and Michaela's and Joe Rogan and Logan Paul, and we're going to get on all these podcasts and we're going to show them about Islam. And our response, you're going to be, you're going to find people. Yes, you will find people who don't know a lot about Islam, and so you'll be able to say a lot of things that you want to say. You can thump your chest and act all tough and impress your followers. But in the long run, it's not going to work, because you're going to get a bunch of people who weren't interested in Islam before, suddenly horrified to find out what it is. And you're going to end up creating your own enemies of the future. Not only that, imagine you're able to dupe some people. So suppose you get on, I've said this before, suppose you get on Joe Rogan's podcast and you give a great spiel for Islam and you talk about all the scientific miracles or Muhammad in the Bible or something. And let's say Joe Rogan has no clue what you're talking about. You get away with it all, right?
Yeah.
And let's suppose some people are actually dumb enough to convert based on watching that. Well, guess what? A lot of those people are going to see that whole thing exposed later, because people like AP and others are going to jump on that and expose it. And then what happens? The people who were duped for a little while, they're going to leave Islam. They're going to be angry that they were duped. And now you're basically creating a bunch of apostates. And so what are the modern champions of dawah doing? They're creating enemies for Islam, future enemies of Islam. They're creating more and more apostates. And the whole time they're doing it, they're thumping their chests and thinking they're doing a great job as their followers cheer them up. This is, I have to say, man, of all the periods of history I could live in, this is the one I want to live in, because this is hilarious.
Your child is going to become an apostate.
He's going to become a white supremacist.
Jay Templeton made a super chat and said, hello, David Wood, an apostate prophet. Thank you so much, Jay Templeton. I appreciate it. Nico Ash became a YouTube member. Fantastic. Became a channel member. That's amazing. Welcome. Arabian Princess. here
Everyone
said-
should become a member of this channel who's watching right now. If you're not a member of this channel, quit being a loser. Click the button.
Yeah, he said it. Arabian Princess made a super chat and said, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it in all its fullness." Jesus Christ! See, here we have Christian propaganda on an atheist channel. See what's going on.
What did you say? You called it propaganda? We have gangsters in Christianity. You can't stop our gangsters.
If that is how you and Christian apologists talked, people would go insane, man. People would go nuts. Seriously. Thank you, AP, for all the information about this horrific cult, especially when I live among them in the only democratic, wonderful land of Israel. I needed this information. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and you're welcome. AP, do you have open streams? Said Shiv. By open streams, I guess you mean call-in streams. I plan to do them more often, but I do them very rarely. But maybe soon, sometime, I don't know. Aliza said, blah, blah, waffle, blah, blah, juxtapose, blah, blah, vociferousness, blah, blah. Opens dictionary, wasted 5 minutes of your life explaining nothing. That's a perfect summary of Mohammed Hijab's video. He didn't actually say anything about the incident, right? He didn't condemn it, but he did make another video. But before we get to that video, I actually want to show you how Mohammed Hijab thinks about vigilantism. See here, let's look at this. Let me share this screen over here and let's watch this video, which I have played before.
I'm not shy to say something outrageous. I'm a wild character. If I want to, I'll say something outrageous.
I think
I have no problem.
quietly
I'm telling
dishonest.
you what it is that I've looked at from the books that I've read and the scholars that I've spoken to. All of them agree with me, yes, that actually it's completely conceivable and totally allowable within a Muslim nation that a Muslim nation does a peace treaty with a non-Muslim nation, and the public apostates that come out and say, we are public apostates, we are against the Prophet Muhammad, we are against the, just like you, and even, so on and so forth. Maybe not just like you, actually, but someone who does all that stuff, and then they can be, what will happen to you? Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you are a public apostate and just
If I did exactly what I'm doing right now in the ideal Islamic country, what would happen to me?
Well, look, if you did what you're doing right now in an ideal Islamic country, I'm sure there will be vigilantes, okay, that will take the law into their own hands. There's a difference between what the civilians do, yes, and what the law says. In an ideal Islamic country,
vigilantes would probably kill me.
It's like asking me if do you know this? There was a film called Die Hard 3. I used to watch films when I was younger. Die Hard with a Vengeance. And then Bruce Willis, he came with this postage saying, "I hate niggers." Sorry to say the word, but he said, "I hate niggers," and he went to Harlem. You know Harlem, and then these guys saw him and they were going to kill him. But I'm not going to tell you that if you are living in a Muslim majority place and you're ripping up the Quran in Pakistan or some place, that you're going to be fine.
So this is what Mohammed Hijab thinks. You have it very clearly on display here. He said it to me before. He believes that in an ideal Islamic state, which he believes in, people who leave Islam would, can be killed, but could also be deported and transferred to a different place. But if somebody like me, who comes out and openly criticizes and insults Islam, then there will be vigilantes who will come and kill me. And that's, of course, totally okay. And as we have just seen right now, this is also consistent with his idea that Islam is basically a gang, and he can't stop those among his own ranks, his brothers whom he loves, from coming and killing me. This is all part of his Islamic belief, of his Islamic system. This is Mohammed Hijab's peaceful Islam. That's as clear as it gets. Clear as day.
And notice at least he's being pretty honest here, right?
Yeah.
Because he goes, "Oh, nothing would ever happen to you. No, peace and tolerance," when we know you'd be killed. And we know that, a specific nation could make a law against vigilante justice and so on. But if you're consistent with Muhammad allowed vigilante justice.
Yeah. And he's not very honest, by the way. He doesn't openly admit that it's totally okay to kill apostates in an Islamic country. He's not as brave as his brother and the lover Ali Dawa, whom we will now watch here.
Before the video starts, guys, I've come together with Muntan. These people may have to see in this life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wait a minute, are you kidding me? The video is titled Reacting to Salman Rushdie Losing an Eye. And what is the
heck?
The charity that he asks for at the beginning is to help people who help people with sight issues, people who go blind with cataracts. Is this just a coincidence, or what is going on here? I don't know.
It's good he's advertising for North Face, though. Go ahead.
Yeah. Salman Rushdie losing an eye. By the way, there is no news that Salman Rushdie actually lost an eye. There was only news that he could. So I don't even know what this guy is on about.
Sisters and dear friends, hope you guys are well, inshallah. Do I condemn the attacks against Salman Rushdie? That's the first question that's usually asked a Muslim.
Don't you think he's really trying to copy Mohammed Hijab, his friend, so hard with his with his squeaky voice? So
it's just weird how bad at acting they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not in their culture to learn art, so you can expect that. It's all right.
It'd be awesome if he'd be like, someone started feeding him grapes right now.
Condemn you? Yes, you. Do you condemn? Yeah, brothers and sisters. Let's break this down. Let's look at the elephant in the room. I want to ask a simple question. I asked this to Cosmic Skeptic. Yeah, the little boy. Yeah, the same question. I want to break it down to you.
Little boy.
Yeah.
Listen, phenomena. It's a phenomena that we as Muslims and Islam is being accused of being intolerant, against freedom of speech, that we cannot deal with criticism. And Islam is so weak that anyone that criticizes, we crumble.
Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know what you're saying. I don't think he knows what phenomena means, which, by the way, is the plural of phenomenon. But I mean, that's totally true. Islam is weak and can't handle criticism. So
let's look at this phenomena. I want to ask a simple question. You guys might know or not know. In Turkey, one of its founders or heroes, should we say, is Ataturk, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. I'm Kurdish Turk. I know of him. If I was to write a book about Ataturk and I was to insult his mom, his dad, his daughter, his son, his granddad,
I am really getting sick of this nonsense. This is the third video of a Muslim apologist about whether you should condemn attack on Salman Rushdie or not. And in this one, immediately what he does is not to address the point, but to deflect by saying, if I insulted a national hero in Turkey.
Listen. I'm waiting for one of these guys to say, okay, you asked me to condemn this, but let's just say, suppose I walk up to a lion and I use my freedom of expression to put my head in the lion's mouth because that's what I want to do. Is my freedom of expression, and the lion bites my head off. Huh? Is that what you believe? It's like, what is their problem? That's
so ridiculous.
It's like every situation. We'll show you an example of some criminal organization or some government that would kill you for saying something. Therefore, stop complaining about us killing you. What is wrong with you, man?
I mean, it's all very simple. Somebody was killed in the name, or somebody was harmed with the intent to kill in the name of your religion. It's everywhere. People are talking about it. You should give your opinion about this as an apologist of Islam who deals with, public perception and misconceptions and whatever it is. And what do you do as a response? If I offended the national hero of Turkey, what the hell does it have to do with the topic? Why don't you just get to the point? Everybody sees it very clearly. You only deflect because you people are disgusting pieces of apologists. Yeah.
To do this, and I saw these books. Do you agree with me that Turkey as a country and the people within it living there, do you think there will be uprisings? Yes, they would be. Do you think there'll be
No, there wouldn't be. I don't even know why he makes this comparison. It's very weird.
Upset? Yes, there'll be. Do you think a fraction of Turkish people would want to come together and execute me? Yes, it's basic.
That's totally not true, by the way. I don't know what he's talking about.
Human psychology. To be upset to a person.
It's basic human psychology to want to go and execute people who, offend things that I like. It's basic human psychology. When somebody says that I don't know, my favorite cereal is actually horrible, I want to go and execute them because I really love that favorite cereal. It's my favorite cereal for a reason. It's basic psychology, man.
That you love. Okay, good. Let's move on. I'm Kurdish myself. I was involved with certain political things when I was young. My dad was also, my family was deeply. And when Abdullah Öcalan, which is one of the leaders of the PKK, he was arrested and taken to Turkey, and now he's actually in an island. There was people that I knew, yes, where we would go to certain protests, which were one of those I didn't attend, like I was too young. They went and set themselves on fire. Let's put this into perspective. They put petrol over themselves and they set themselves on fire in central London. This was all over the news. These people were ready to set themselves. I mean, I don't know who you love that much, but subhanAllah, to set yourself on fire, it's a whole different level. Now let's put this into perspective. If I was to write a book against Abdullah Öcalan, the head of the PKK group, the Kurdish group, yeah, and I was to insult him, and there's a lot of Kurds that live in London.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Get rid of me, go to Russia. And I was to insult Putin. I wrote a book about Putin. You'd be surprised if a Russian spy or somebody just took a gun out and went bang and shot me in the head. Secularists, be it the nationalists, be it the religious people, any group that you look at, if they have someone that they love, they would go to levels. Some may condemn it. Some may say, you know what, we condemn it. We condemn it. We don't want violence, but we condemn this. A small fraction of them might say, you know what, no, actually, we want this guy killed. We want him beheaded. We want him finished.
Shut the hell up. Do you also wish the same thing or not? Very simple, man. Very simple.
Only religion. Which study do you have that has been carried out cross-culturally around the different nations? And before the video starts, guys, I've come together with Muntada Aid. We want him finished. Now, why is it that this phenomena that Muslims and Islam is the only religion? Which study do you have that has been carried out cross-culturally around the world that shows us and tells us that, you know what, we've done a cross-cultural examination. We went to different nations and different...
You know what? People are killed in the name of Islam. People are attacked in the name of Islam for offending Islam. It sends shockwaves around the world. You know, terrorist attacks happen in the name of Islam. Other terrorist attacks don't happen very much. Religiously motivated terrorist attacks. People don't hear of them. People are not threatened and killed, which is then celebrated by the vast majority of people around the world belonging to that religion. Only when it's Islam that happens. But you know what? We shouldn't think this is only about Islam, because do you have a study? No. Do you have research which says that only Muslims think this way? No, you don't. So therefore, you shouldn't think this way. Even though everybody knows what's going on, we should think this way. Even though you cannot bring me one piece of evidence of people being killed for offending different religions and the vast majority of believers celebrating that, only you can find it only with Islam, like with the Salman Rushdie case. Still, we should not believe that. All religions have the same issue. All of them, yes. And all other ideologies too, yes, yes. Democracy too. For example, when you criticize the founders of democracy, right, or philosophy, when you say something bad about Socrates, for example, people will come and kill you. It's basic human psychology.
And notice you can examine this like cross-culturally, right? I mean, you go to Nigeria. I regularly read about people being killed in Nigeria for hurting someone's feelings over Muhammad. The fatwa came from Iran, very different. We regularly hear about people in Pakistan being brutally murdered by mobs of people for making fun of Muhammad or the Quran. The mere accusation that someone made fun of Muhammad or the Quran. Notice, Pakistan is very different from Iran, which is very different from Nigeria. And here you have an attack from Salman Rushdie in New York. So you know, the Charlie Hebdo massacres in France. This is cross-cultural, right? This is global cross-cultural. Islam keeps causing people to be brutally murdered for hurting someone's feelings over their religion. So that's just reality there.
Yeah. Do you ever see other people reacting to stuff like this with such stuff, celebrating it? May Salman Rushdie go to hell. This young hero who pecked blasphemer Salman Rushdie, may Allah bless him, and so on. Does this happen in the name of other religions and ideologies around the world? And do we see this? Do we see that most of the adherents of that ideology or religion then go online and celebrate this and are happy about this? Do you have evidence of other religions doing that very same thing. I tell you, bring me one piece of evidence where on such a scale somebody is killed for or attacked like this for offending their religion, and most people celebrate it. For most people from that religion celebrate it. Bring me evidence and I will delete this channel, I swear.
Different groups and different colors and different races. All of them said they have no problem with being insulted against. A person that they may have loved has been attacked, and all of them said we would have no problem. Be okay with this, no problem. Carry on insulting, we'll help you insult it. If this hasn't been carried out, why the double standards and the hypocrisy? And this goes back to Salman Rushdie. The point is the same. Wherever you go, you will see the same results because you're dealing with human beings. And some human beings get upset and take the frustration out.
Don't people criticize your beliefs all the time?
Yes.
So you obviously don't get violent, but how many people?
Well, to be fair, if people said horrible, if people wrote something bad about me, I know that my subscribers would go and kill the person.
Kill and slaughter the person, right? And same thing with me. I mean, if anyone were to criticize me or make fun of me or something like that, I know my fans would go on a murdering spree and just kill and slaughter. Like, where does this guy live? He really thinks everyone. Yeah, anytime you criticize someone that people love, yeah, there's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. It's a fact. It's a fact. Everyone knows this. Cross-cultural phenomenon.
This is so ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous. I don't even know. What kind of a world is this, man? What a religion.
Swearing at the person that does this. Some go to the level of blackmailing, not blackmailing, threatening, writing letters, and some go down the route of trying to kill the person themselves.
Yeah, normal.
Why is it different with Islam?
This is normal.
The question that needs to be asked is, not do you condemn it? What is the difference with Islam?
Pause it. I can give easy answer. Islam commands it. Big difference. Big difference, right? Now he's right. He's right in that a person from any sort of group could be a hothead and say, you talked about this politician whom I love. I'm going to go on a killing spree over that, right? You could have someone like that. That is very, very different from the collective ideology calling for that, right? If you had a, let's say, an American political group, Republican, Democrat, whatever it happens to be, that it became the platform of the party. We're going to kill anyone who makes fun of the leaders of our party. We'd be against that too. That would be blasted. That would be blasted around the world. He's just acting like, it's perfectly normal. Of course, if you make fun of someone, we're going to go on a killing spree. Someone, of course. What's the difference between that and Islam? Islam commands it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the difference. You got it. Very difficult question, right?
And not only does Islam command it, the person who is called the pattern of conduct, according to the Quran, Surah 33, verse 21, Muhammad is the pattern of conduct. He's the guy who ordered people to brutally murder his critics.
Yeah.
And he's the pattern of conduct.
That's the difference. Alidawa, you thought you asked such a difficult question, which we will definitely not answer. What is the difference? Why do you expect this from Islam? Why the double standards? Well, here is the answer. David just gave it very, very briefly. It's very simple. It is your religion which actually commands such violence. There you have it. Now, do you condemn it or not?
That is the question that I want to ask. And this is the key question here, brothers and sisters. Until you answer that question, don't come to us.
We already answered it. I hope he can now take it from here.
Yeah, quit lying. We already answered him. Why is he pretending we didn't?
Yeah, idiot. He doesn't hear us. Idiot.
And dare to say, do you condemn it? And like Douglas Murray said, when the Christchurch attack happened, what did he say? He said, we cannot blame anybody but the perpetrator. Okay, as a Muslim, you ask me the question. Do I condemn? The only one that's responsible for this.
Was the perpetrator acting on behalf of a religion which commanded him, or of a religious figure, or of a figure who commanded him to go to the mosque in Christchurch and to kill a bunch of Muslims? Did that guy do that? Was that the case with the Christchurch massacre? Was that the case? No, it wasn't. But in this case, with the Salman Rushdie attack, the guy on behalf of his religion, which commands to hurt blasphemers, on behalf of his religious leader, who commands the killing of Salman Rushdie, went there and tried to kill Salman Rushdie. There is the difference. Ali Dawah.
Yeah, I mean, he's
What an idiot.
He's making stupid points that are very, very easy to refute, right? The guy for the crowd, same thing with Anders Breivik. And by the way, people did try to link these guys to everyone that they don't like, right? People did try to link these guys. But at the end of the day, the people they're trying to link them to want nothing to do with these people's ideas who are going around committing violence. If it had been a very different situation, and let's say Robert Spencer had been saying, I'm gonna give millions of dollars to anyone who goes down and attacks these mosques or something like that, you would justifiably blame him in addition to the man who carried it out. And if Robert Spencer had an ideology and served a prophet, and that prophet ordered people to go shoot up mosques, and then Robert's simply telling people what his prophet said, and then someone goes out and carries it, you have there's blame spread across the board, right? There'd be the person who carries it out, he's to blame. There'd be Robert Spencer for saying it, and then there'd be the prophet for saying it. We blame all those people. And so Ali Dawah, well, why is it just that person's fault? Because he seems to be a really, really weird dude with some weird ideas that most of which aren't connected to other people, right? He's not getting, hey, I'm going to go shoot up these mosques. He's not getting that from some bigger group or bigger organization that we're aware of. And so to compare these things where you have, I mean, tons and tons of people around the world celebrating the attack on Salman Rushdie, attack commanded by Muhammad, who he ordered his followers to kill people for making fun of him, ordered by a government that issued a fatwa. Keep in mind, this is not a random political thing. It's fatwa. It's a religious ruling based on Muhammad's teachings. And then a guy carries it out and, oh, no, it's just the individual here. My goodness, you hypocrites.
By the way, I mean, he seems to be to have no issue with the killing of Salman Rushdie and seems to make excuses for it, like Mohammed Hijab, who says, well, we have gangsters too, you know, and then goes ahead and compares this to a massacre on Muslims, on innocent Muslims in Christchurch. I guess by Ali Dawah's logic here and his approach to the situation, it should be completely fine for somebody to also say, well, you know, the Muslims themselves. I mean, you know, I don't think we should condemn the attack on Muslims, the massacre on Muslims. You know, because everybody has gangsters, and the white nationalists have gangsters too. If you offend them, if you do things that are offensive to them, then you will taste their wrath, and there's nothing we can do. I guess that's how people should approach massacres on Muslims too, by that logic. Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab. I mean, you guys are so dumb. It's really unbelievable. You guys are so dumb. You're doing a disservice to your entire community. You guys are so dumb. You're putting your own community in danger. You guys are so dumb. You make analogies that just make you look bad and make your religion and your community look horrible. Make them end up looking like the people whom we should actually blame here in this situation. I mean, you people are stupid, man. Seriously, you people are stupid. And no, I don't think that we should take situations like the massacres of innocent people lightly. I think we should severely condemn such, you know, mosque massacres of somebody going and killing a bunch of Muslims. At the same way, we should also condemn other people going out and trying to kill individuals who write books. It should be very easy for you to sit there and to make maybe it can be a very short video, to make a declaration, a very open declaration, and say, guys, as a Muslim, we must say that attacks on people for their opinions and their books are absolutely abhorrent, are unacceptable. We condemn this. But no, you guys sit here and talk about all kinds of different things to deflect from the actual point that your religion commands to kill people who offend your religion, and that you guys approve of that. That is the point. Explicitly or implicitly, you approve of that. David, I remember you told me that we should only go for 1.5 hours. I completely forgot about that.
You've violated that like you always do.
I don't know why you told me just 1.5 hours. I completely forgot. But if you need to stop here, I think these people have nothing important to say anyway. It's just a bunch of weaseling. I can quickly look at some super chats and then we can go. Yeah, let's see. Is there anything here to see? Zagros Özkan said, big middle finger to Islam and a small kind of middle finger to my brother David. I don't know why, but somebody has a problem with you, David.
I don't know. He has some brother named David, but I don't know what the guy did. But
Yeah. It's probably somebody else, not you. Lots of people are called David. Stefan Miljevic said, sending you guys lots of love from Serbia. Oh, greetings to Serbia. Wonderful. Beautiful country. Debodro said Khomeini's son said his father never read the satanic verses. In fact, I haven't heard of anyone who supports the attack. I don't think most people who are offended about the satanic verses, the book by Salman Rushdie, have probably never read it. You can find a little summary of it online if you don't want to read it. But yeah, I don't think they know what they're actually criticizing. It.
I tried reading it. I couldn't. It was too weird.
It's like it gets very much into fantasy of these two.
I mean,
people.
it started off weird, and I was like, I can't figure out what in the world's going on here. So
isn't it like the two characters are sitting on a plane on a terrorist attack, then they fall, and then they go through this magic realm and become angel and devil, and then they meet a character named Mahund, who is suspiciously just like Muhammad, and who gets inspired to say that the polytheistic idol gods are also acceptable, but then he says, no, this is actually not right, and kind of stuff like that. It's an interesting book. Reckon Abgunay said, stay away from the religion of submission, which means Islam, literally. Black Angel said, no, he's against it if it's done in the right way. He's not against it if it's done. Okay, that's what that was about Sajid Lipham. Ashok Chahar made a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And said, hi, AP and David Wood. Off topic, but can you guys make videos about Mo ordering killings and early offensive wars by him where he looted caravan of traders minding their business and what happened to their women? I referenced that stuff in one of my early videos, which was about the bloody spread of Islam. But these are things that we should make separate videos about as well. Just focus on them. Yeah, definitely. David?
I've talked about that stuff in tons of times.
Yeah.
But I deleted it all.
you don't have a channel anymore. So
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic D Wood.
Well, by the way, you have a new channel, right? Where you publish stuff.
Oh yeah, I've been setting up multiple things, but yeah, you'll see about that here very, very soon.
Very soon. Resurrecting Truth said, good to see you too. Islam is set to destroy humanity and set people against each other. Much love. Yeah.
Islam's not going to destroy humanity because we're not going to let it.
Yes. People are going to leave Islam. They're leaving Islam already. Harun, the American Muslim revert, said, my God, you're not even good at putting lies into their mouths. Oh, I marked this earlier because we were talking about Sajid Lipham, and this guy was saying that we are misrepresenting him. I don't know what he's talking about, but the American
You're
Muslim
taking their videos out of context.
Yeah, I'm taking them out of context.
These are weak hadith.
Marilyn Murphy said, stay away from Al-Islam. Al-Islam. That's good.
Oh, boy.
Al-Islam. She said, what happened to Sunday Scoop? I don't know. That's not my stuff. That's somebody else does that. Harris Sultan does that. Ask him. I have nothing to do with that. Richard Hoffman said, listening to this guy is exceeding my maximum daily dose of cringe. I believe that was about Mohammed Hijab, not Sajid Lipham, because Sajid Lipham is very easy to listen to, but Mohammed Hijab is just difficult.
Did you know that I have many fans, Richard Huffman, and we have gangsters. I can't control them. They might kill you for saying that. Take it back. Call me cringe too much. I can't stop them from murdering you.
So ridiculous, man. Richard Benjamin made a super chat and made another one, but didn't say anything. I appreciate it a lot. Jay Templeton said, I guess that's progress. He's defending instead of saying we are proud of that. Seriously, why don't they just come out of here and say it openly and loudly? I know Ali Dawa is pleased about people being killed in the name of Islam for offending their religion. I know Mohammed Hijab is happy about that.
They're not going to be pleased. Because there are these things called consequences. I don't mean violent consequences. I mean, when you try to silence people from criticizing your fake prophet, the most obvious false prophet in history, and your goal is to intimidate people into never doing that again, don't be surprised if we can't control the gangsters over here. Don't be surprised if people insult and mock your prophet even more in the very near future.
Yes. By the way, those who are thinking of making super chats here, make super chats, because if you don't make super chats, we have gangsters too, and I can control
Give us money, or else we won't be able to control the gangsters who are coming after you.
I can stop the gangsters from
What a
coming after
religion, man.
Yeah.
Wow. We
Christian-
function exactly like the mafia, but I'll even compare us to drug cartels.
Yeah. Christian Hijab said, one of my TikTok lives, a young man proudly told me Islam will take over US and non-Muslims will be forced to convert or leave the land. Thank you both for inspiring many to leave Mo's teachings. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm just very confused here by the picture and the name Christian Hijab. I don't know what's going on here, but but thank you. I appreciate it. Abi K said, according to Alidawa logic, all Christians should execute whoever calls Jesus Christ a prophet and not God. Christians might have gangsters too. I don't know. But, maybe. Lean Rashid said, sorry, AP, but Lean Rashid said, sorry, AP, but David's impression of the skeeky weasel is better.
Excellent point. Best comment of the day.
I admit it's true. Aldo said Sneeko had a live stream. Who is Sneeko? What is Sneeko? Had a live stream pandering to Islam because he was cancelled. He folded to the violent threats and wants to join them. I have no idea who or what a Sneeko is.
Everybody knows Sneeko.
But thank you for telling us. Krishna R3 said, you guys are doing great work. Thank you so much, AP and David. How long till this cult is extinct? 200 years. Also, when is the next episode of Prophet Tales coming? Soon. Jay Templeton said, small jizya for your efforts to protect us from Islam. Thank you so much. I appreciate your jizya, your contribution. I will tell my gangsters to leave you in peace, not to harm you because you have paid your super chats to me. Thank you. Well done. And finally, Henry2817 said, David, make more content, please. Yes, David.
David's about to be making more content than ever.
David. Oh, I missed something here. St. Miles, who's always here and who is a loyal member of this channel, also said something. Said, interesting and informative show. Keep up the great work, adding entertainment to my Sunday. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. But this is not entertainment. This is the truth. This is Hikmah. This is the Hikmah, brothers and sisters. But did you see Shaky Booty's latest video, by the way? He also made some great points about what is a woman. Did you see that? Shaky Booty.
Oh, yeah. No, that was good. Yeah, I shared that. I shared that on Twitter.
Okay. Aldo said, are we going on a crusade? Well, we have gangsters. Nobody knows. But thank you so much. David, anything else that you want to say to this audience before we ride into the night? Or into the dark?
Say to all the gangsters out there, better get ready.
We have gangsters too, yeah. And I can't stop them, man. I can't stop. Somebody felt compelled to make a super chat because I threatened them with gangsters, just like the cartels. So Murti said, AP and David, from now on, I will execute everyone who is offending you. I can't stop the gangsters. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, David. Have a fantastic day, everybody. And stay away from...
It's Alice Lamb. Alice Lamb, remember?
Stay away from Alice Lamb. She has